Yeah, everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here I'm actually into the garden today. I see I'm gonna give you all a very close looked up to how long I've actually been here, to how plants have been shifting after a very cool time now. So stay true to the channel. So I'm gonna give you all what are the actual good benefits I actually used to have the garden actually shaping up. It's looking really great. Even though that it's looking very great, I have placed many new strategies into the garden which I am actually seeing results into, so I want to actually share that with you all today. So today, first thing first, if you're actually new to the channel, this is one of my Daryl with vlogs. You can actually subscribe to the channel, share and comment, ask for posting any different way, or even ask for lives. So as I said, actually I had made a short post on my short videos that I'm going to be coming with a very new strategy for you all in business, and it's going to be actually where I actually share my business content that you don't have to actually start with any money for investments. So I'm going to be hitting you all with that. I wouldn't be in the garden, but when it's time for the garden, I'm going to make sure that my fans who actually love the garden, love seeing me into the garden, I made the photos to continue engaging. So today I'm going to be actually giving you all a very nice um, tour here to show you all what the garden looks around, how it actually looks, what are the advantage and disadvantages I've seen. So far I've actually planted some dashing plants. If you can look very closely, they were actually dashing plants that were actually, I wouldn't say seeing trouble, but they have just started. So what I did when I planted them, I've gotten a little bit of water. So what I did, I given them some of the urea manure. That's a very good manure for dashings. I recommend it for the dashings. It gives very good root structure and help development in plants very quick. It's actually a development um, manual. So now, trying to go further into the garden to show you all another step which I actually took. I had did my cleaning, and so far it's been actually 2 weeks now, and my bushes are actually down. I have no complaints when it comes to weeding section. So it's really good to actually sweep up, cleaned up, like have a rake, clean up your garden after you're done cutlassing and all the stuff like that. So when you sweep the ground, it actually takes a very long time for the bush to actually comes up. So that's gonna actually gives you a very head start in um, helping your garden, keeping your garden sanitized and keeping it in a very good state. So far as we continue going around the garden, um, I have newly planted trees which is actually in great shape, which is gonna be showing soon. I even have a small one here that's fighting up, but it actually is coming. So I'm going to give it some time, let it take its time and do what it got to do. I may have to change the prop. It's a little leaning a little bit to the opposite side of the garden. So far into the garden, we have reached the climax of where we can actually have enough plants to actually supply, and our supplying is actually greater than before. So as I said, when I started, it wasn't um, 100 or 200 plants. It was a little bit under this. So when I started, it was very low amount of plants. Okay, I couldn't have supplied all the way up here, but now I have actually supplied all the way up here, and I still haven't plants that I can supply to the top. So for now, see the difference when you actually cut the bush and you leave them to the ground, then they start actually growing back very quickly and covering back the area very quickly. So the good thing is the difference between down there is down there has been swept. But when I actually cleaned here, I haven't had the time to sweep them. But actually, I've seen a difference, and I actually left this here to show you all that it's a very big difference when you actually, yes, it's maybe taking time to actually clean and plus sweep, but it's very effective. And if you take a look closely, you can see like we have very good production. Okay, and also the plants are standing up very good. So for the dashings, everyone look okay. So going on more likely into the garden, I have just my little tanias. I have a few tiny plants. Okay, I haven't planted them like planted them, but These were tiny plants which I actually had take the mamas and just strewed. So they're really big, very beautiful. And besides the tiniest, I also has my broadleaf thymes, which I does my seasoning with. If persons were actually looking at my posts very often, you can see that I have that drain here, which I actually will run in some water. And I decided to put the times there so that they can actually fill up the water and all that. So now they're actually on the go. So I'm giving them the whole of the month. I'm going to give them another dose of fertilizing. And I have a piece of water stream that I'm going to be working on. I want to actually be a little bit more interactive with everyone so I can show you how I'm going to be setting up the water, where I'm taking the distance of the water from, and where I'm going to actually bring the water. So this is going to be one of the gardens that the water is going to be ending in. This last garden here, so the other garden right there, and I'm going to take it from way up. So I can actually feed any other areas back to my home if possible that I want to do that, okay? So far around the garden, it has been not bad, okay? This is a pawpaw tree here, which I haven't planted it, but if anybody could tell in farming, without planting, you get very good products, okay? When you plant something and you take care of it, sometimes you actually over take care of it and it doesn't actually come true. So this was a tree that actually just grew up. I cleaned around it, and as a manual, it had gotten some manual also. So now it's actually in a flowering stage, and maybe it may do some bearing, I guess. So I'm gonna watch it and see, and if it looks like one that's gonna actually do some good bearing, then actually I'm in for something good. So far the garden hasn't looked bad. The dry season been turning around a bit, but we are actually experiencing a little bit of rain in between. So I would suggest, like, within the drier season like this, if you don't have any water, I wouldn't recommend you touching any of your stools, okay? So for instance, you haven't got any water, you're heading into the dry seasons. You don't want to actually start taking out suckers. It's gonna actually chew down your plants. There is no root to actually take back from when you remove this from a mother plant. So in the dry season, you cease to exist. You cease to actually take off plants and try replanting. You can only do that if you have a water system running into your garden, okay? So if you have a system that actually is a drip system, a soak system, whatever you want to call it, and outside is really hot and you have that water, you can actually do your transplanting right through the year. You don't have to actually wait. So that is why I actually want to start running back my water very soon. So I can be transplanting, I can be planting right through the year. And also, if you can check here, there is distance into my garden which could take much more plants. So this is where I want to actually focus on. So when I started, um, I did far apart planting, okay? Because I just started, I wanted the plants to get enough sunlight. I wanted the plants to get enough of photosynthesis, fertilizing, water intake. So I had planted them very far, but now if you take a very close look, you can see that there are several plants that are actually being planted a little more closer every time I actually started doing my transplanting. So for I want to actually use up much space as possible so that if I'm actually doing my plants, I have more plants, I have more mother plants, I have more suckers to actually transplant, and sooner or later I'm going to be able to sell plants, okay? So don't just look at it as actually something that you're just doing or something that you may have as something. It's actually an asset, okay? In the drier seasons where persons doesn't have the water which I may have, then they may have shortage of plants. They may lose a lot of plants. Plants may fall. Haven't even started their chewing, like haven't even actually started chewing up fruits or chewing up produce, like plantains or fig. They haven't sent out any fruit, and they are actually fall. So these are actual um, setbacks for different farmers who are living in different areas where there are not actual water. So with that process, if I have my water system running up, and if you actually doing farming on planting section, whether it be planting figs, bloggers, whatever you're doing, and there is a high demand for it in your country, and you see the need for it, and they're paying very good at maybe restaurants, hotels, even supermarkets, and you're getting very good production returns, sorry, from what you're actually selling, then you want to actually start a water system. Persons say that in the planting family that they don't require much water, they don't require a water source. But I will tell you this: to have plantings, to have figs right through the year, to actually have that production running right through the year, you need that source. Okay, you need that actual water through the garden to keep the plants running, to keep the suckers coming up. And when one plant had actually threw off its system and it had actually sent back out its other suckers, you may have also other plants which can actually replace that. And by then, you will have a lot of plants also, so that your planting system is going to be actually up to date, up to max. So, for instance, you have another piece of garden. Instead of selling the plants that you have, you can actually take off enough plants that you have. I can say surety for now, I sure have over, I can get roughly over 50 good planting plants from what I actually have here, what I already had true, and what I actually had replant. Okay, I can get at least 50 planting plants to actually start another project somewhere in another piece of garden to actually do a big piece of farming. So if you have reached so far into the video, I would like for you to subscribe. As I said, don't forget it's the main key here why we are actually doing what we are doing. So my knowledge sharing to everyone else who is actually young, engaged, love farming, want to go hard in farming as the way I do. Um, as I said, feel free to engage. Um, I want to actually make it engageable for everyone who's actually want to get into that aspect of it. As I said, I used to do the short crop before, but I would recommend many persons if you're starting as a young person in farming, you start with the planting and figs. Get to learn about the planting and figs. Get to learn about the different fertilizer and how they works and how the planting strives. And later on, if you want to actually break down, I wouldn't recommend you break down into the short crop divisions one time like this. I will recommend you break down into the short crop divisions by going into something a little less stressable like pumpkins or melons, okay? And from there, you can go down a little lower to cucumbers, and then you can hit lettuce and bok choys and stuff like that. So I would recommend you actually hit the short crop season just like this. If you have the water system and everything up and running, you can hit it. If you have enough resources that you can actually use to keep that going, you can actually do it. But if you're just starting and you doesn't have enough land requirements, you don't. You may have a little stream of water. You may actually want an idea to actually do your water source. Okay, for instance, I may have a little pool of water running from my garden. It may be a drain. It may be in the center of my garden. I may want to actually use that water, but maybe the location of the water, I haven't had any. I could say I don't got much experience in how could I actually control that water, or how can I use that water into my garden. If I doesn't got a pump, if I don't have the necessary funds to get a pump, how can I actually um, gain such success with the water? What can I do and stuff like that. So if you actually have a piece of garden and you're young or you're old and you have a piece of land that you want to actually do some farming in, and you doesn't have the require necessary funds to give the farm a boost, okay, to give it a start, then you can actually make the comment under my videos. I will look at it. I'm gonna show you the best solution because that's what I actually do. I take mostly of the smaller things that I actually have. I take things that actually persons don't look at. I take things that persons don't really, you know, have an idea in, and I actually sit and I make an idea for it, and I actually make it work. Okay, so for here, as I said, it wasn't here wasn't no place that you can actually run through like this. It was a place like this with all the big trees. I surprised I didn't have any bamboo to deal with, but it was a place just like this, and even worse. Okay, and there is still a little evidence with little trees, as you can see. Still a little evidence with hard trees that actually had been cut off from when I was actually doing the job. Even stumps that I actually left to die. Okay, so here wasn't no big set of land where I could have I gutted the land, worked, and I gutted the land, and the land was actually okay. So here was a piece of garden which was not worked. It was actually in bush and also a lot of cocoa farming here. So I decided to do some agriculture farming here. So if you actually like the posts, if you like the videos, if you like the contents I'm actually pushing on Facebook, on YouTube, you can follow me on YouTube. You can subscribe. You can follow on Facebook. You can meet me on TikTok. I even got my website where I actually sell my products on Amazon. So you can actually check that out under my description in my YouTube videos. You can actually check them out also on my Facebook page. You're gonna get Darrell David. You can check it out. DARELDAVID. You can check out my Facebook. You're gonna see my posts. You can even check on my pages on Facebook. I got my Amazon online purchase page, and I even got my learning hall page, get the taste page for my seasonings. So there's a lot of things that you can actually follow me from LinkedIn, um, MeWe, a lot of different platforms that I'm actually using to actually get out there. So if you actually a follower, you may not be into the farming alone, as I said, but you're going to be into the online part of job. Okay, I don't want to only do one stuff. Never put your eggs in one basket. I always say that in most of my videos, that you actually try to mix up your investments. Okay, don't try to invest only in one thing. But as I said, now I'm doing the investment into the online. I have these here for my backups. Okay, so my farming itself gonna come as my backup, and I'm gonna use that for in case I may have to make my little runs. Okay, for instance, I may have little things I want to do. I may want to make a little run, do a little birthday party, um, get something to eat, get something to drink, make a little lime. These are the money I'm gonna be using for this. Okay, so this is my backup. Still, I'm gonna be saving out of it, but these are money I'm gonna be using at first hand. My other jobs like online jobs and stuff like that, these are money that I'm going to be saving. Okay, so these are my backups. So in case my online breakdown due to hurricane, as I said, due to things that we has no control over, I will definitely have this year to fall back on. Okay, these are something that's going to be money for me. So if you're a farmer, if you a farmer and you don't have the interest in online, have a backup business. Okay, have a business that's going to give you a return. Okay, so something like I do seasonings, water seasonings. If you good at that, if you love doing that, this is a very good business also. Seasonings where you actually get the fresh out of meats, locally made. A lot of persons love the local seasonings, so it's a very good you're doing in the land. So it's a very good backup for you. And if you actually don't have any backup like your seasonings and you want to try something new, um, fast return business. This could be like poultry. You can do chickens for meat. It's a faster throw off than eggs. If you want to do things like livestock, it's more a long-term farming. So it's gonna take you a while to actually have a running revenue. So you want to have something that could give you a little revenue in case that you actually fall down and you don't have something like a nursery could actually work also. Doing seedling plants, it can work. Um, what else can I recommend? Things that you can actually make money from right now. So if you has a very good idea and you want to hit it, you want to go hard with your farming, um, you want to make it different, you want to come out different, you have a vibe for it, you've been motivated by most of my posts, I will say if you want to start a channel also, let me be the first person that you actually share that link to so that I can subscribe to your channel and I can actually watch your contents and I can actually big you up and comment on different strategy of how you use, because by the ending of the day we all actually need each other to actually get a better foundation. Okay, so your ideas may be profitable in my farm, and as I'm sharing my ideas it may be more profitable in your farm. So as we continue going along, if you've been motivated by the videos, as I said, I will actually make more content and I will make it my best. As I said, I want to make it my best to actually, when I'm setting up the water system, I already have all the equipments there. So when I'm setting up the water system, I will run that system by you. I'm going to be doing a video. So I'm going to show you how I actually set up the water system, what I did for the river sake in case of over excess rainfall, when the river actually erodes, how I actually use, what strategy I do, why did I do the way I did it, so that it is actually effective. Okay, and as I coming down, what I did, and when it reached to the garden, what type of line do I break it down to, um, how do I control the excessive water, and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to be making sure that I do that for you all. And for those who actually is looking at my channel from time to time and you're looking to invest into a business, you don't have to be farming. You can comment, you can ask for different business ideas. I do a lot of research, so you can actually ask me for different business ideas that you may want to actually start doing, but you may not have the passion, or you may not have the mindset to actually pick a business. But you want to have a business in the field of maybe online, something light that you can do. You may be having a job for yourself, but you want to have a side business you can actually do that is not going to affect your job. So you can actually post that things into the comments, and I'm going to do my research. I'm going to make it available for you all. And one more strategy I'm going to say before I actually leave here is, during the dry season, I actually spoke about cleaning of the planting. But during the dry season, you don't want to touch that much. Okay, that's where actually the water is stored to keep the plant healthy. Okay, so if you take a very close look, you could see, if you take a very close look here, you can see there is droplets of water. So, and these droplets of water is actually coming out from one of the leaf. Okay, so the leaf had started right here, and this is coming out to the leaf. So you don't want to actually do any touching. Okay, this is a little insect also. Um, these may actually come through and destroy your fruit. You don't want that. Okay, so it's the first time I'm seeing the type of insect, but I'm gonna monitor it. Okay, so you don't want to actually remove these. As I said, this is where the water is being stored, and if you, the more you expose it into the dry season, the more the sun hits it and it comes back like this. And if you continue removing, then you're not going to have a healthy plant. You're not going to have a healthy production. Okay, so you leave it as it is. If you can just cut off just from here, but you don't strip it down. Okay, you just brush out right around. You don't strip it down. Yes, in the dry season, most of these little insects actually go leaves into the leaf sheet, which can cause harm. As you can see, there's a lot of ants inside of this one. So during the dry season and the heat, the insects go through the leaf sheets to actually get cover. Okay, so that's why I recommend, if you have a lot of water, okay, if you have a water system and you're running that water system, you can actually remove the leaf sheets and get rid of all the different negativities like borers, all different insects and stuff like that. So it's really good to have a water system into your planting field. So I'm gonna leave you all right now because I have other things that I'm gonna be posting today. So I want to actually make sure that all the farmers who have been visiting my channel time after time, all the viewers, all the fans from wherever in the world, that you're actually seeing the produce I'm doing and you're actually proud of it and you're supportive. I want to say very much thank you for all what you actually been supporting through. And as you continue engaging yourself into my YouTube channel and engaging yourself into my comment section, we can have really, really good time together. So I can do lives where I can actually tag your guys in. You can ask questions based on the farm, and I can actually provide you with the suitable answer, the most effective answer that's going to be profitable for each and every person. Okay, so as I said, you don't have to be a farmer, but you may be a little kitchen gardener. I actually used to do the short crops, so I have a lot of knowledge into the short crops. I'm just not doing it right now, but I have a lot of knowledge into the short crops like lettuce, cabbages, tomatoes, and pak choys and other things like scissors and peppers. So if you see me doing this for now and you think that I haven't had any knowledge in the short crops, I were actually in the short crops already, so I just branch over to these here because they are less time consuming for me and I have more on my hand to actually do, so I need my time. So if you actually find it very nice and you want to engage, you can just comment. We can do live. As I said, you can ask questions and I can give the answers. Okay. So far, this is how the garden looks. Give you all a last little look around so that you can see the production. These were the trees I had in certain videos. They were really, really sharp. Now I can see speed. Okay, I can see growth, and I haven't given them any fertilizing as yet. So even those trees, all these are little trees which I actually had there, and they're moving up. Even the dashings, these were dashings that actually were struggling, and we have gotten a little bit of water. And since after we have gotten the water, I have seen big change, and now I'm giving them some time to actually take up all the water that's under the ground, and then focus on taking on some sunlight to develop, and then by that time I'm gonna have the water system back up. So that's how the garden looks. Stay the same way, even in the dry season. Still looks very great. So see you all in the next video, and as I said, don't forget, don't even feel afraid. You can comment, and I'm gonna actually answer. So see you all into the next video, and I'll be posting.